All right, welcome everybody to the clusterfuck, the Triglavian Times. We've got a special guest with us today. If you can't tell, with his signature Discord icon. I'm your host Sabbat. I got my co-hosts Reece
Oh,
and Kylon,
triangle, triangle.
and then our guest of the day, CCP Swift, Elise Randolph, the Boundary Violator. Um,
Hello.
community
Super
dev,
excited, actually.
community dev. Everyone loves him.
Uh,
Especially when he does the funny things with CCP Convict, and we're like, man, Elise should probably maybe get a little bit of convicts work ethic before getting to work from that fun fan fest video.
yeah, that was actually super fun to film. By the way, we did it all in one day, and we showed up to Harpa, and we're like, "Hey, can we film in here?" They're like, "What do you want to film?" So we told them the whole thing, and they're like, "That's really weird, but sure, go for it."
That's
They just
funny.
could not care less.
That's good. So today we're probably going to be covering a huge spectrum of stuff. So we got a lot of different things that I wanted to talk about with all the hot drops that CCP has been doing on us, with new changes and all that fun stuff, and the ship balance passes, DBM changing, all that fun jazz, new Navy ships, all that fun. So we're gonna cover the gambit on a lot of different stuff today. God, hiccups. Let's see. Probably. I mean, okay, we'll just start with the little softball before we get too big into it. I mean, we chat a little bit about it, but how do you think everyone's reaction, Swift, was during E Vegas when you guys were doing some of the announcements?
Uh, there's definitely something that people liked. We tried to be pretty varied with who we were like buffing things for, not just for a specific group of people or specific play style. Even though E Vegas is notorious like nullsec, like Den, there are other people that were doing the patch and the expansion for. So there's a little bit in there for everybody, and obviously a ton of love for the DBS floor being raised. But there was also a lot of love for the Minotaur changes, hack tweaks, um, new ships. Obviously, I think everyone likes new ships.
Yep, we like
Oh yeah.
shiny new things to get blown up in. And then the logos and
Uh,
all that stuff. But yeah, we can start
yeah,
going down this.
the
So
emblems are a real cool one.
yeah, so everyone knows we've chatted about this a lot on here about faction warfare changes that we're super pumped about that shit. Except for being triangles, we want a triangle faction. And we're still biding our time until you can do your allegiances because everyone has their kind of their own things that they want to do. Um, So we harp about that, but yeah, the DBM the DBS going up. I just can the nullsecers leave Pakvin now? Can you go crab in your space and leave our space alone?
I mean, given so I had a bunch of really good conversations with people at E Vegas from all areas of space. Uh, and one of the things that was pretty constant is like people don't realize how much money Pockman like prints. So you should be lucky or feel lucky that these guys like there's only a small number of people
Oh
as of
wow.
now.
I mean,
For now.
I didn't really realize Pakvin was a money printing machine. I mean, I could never really understand how Drake Iden got that super expensive Panther. It always bugged me. Yeah, it is a money printing machine. We always look at it and we always get excited when I mean, we were kind of bummed a couple of times where we actually told Drake he should have just whelped his Panther and we would have been number one for destruction in all of New Eden.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the MER and even just looking at Dotland, right? Like the amount of things going boom in POC is so cool considering it's 27 systems. It's like the smallest little area of space that does so much.
Oh yeah, that's why I love it. Except for when I fire up Twitch and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stream me going around the triangle, and I find like nothing.
Yeah, I still don't understand why you'd want to live anywhere else. It's for the most part endless content.
Yep, yep. There's certain days and certain times where it could be dead as a doornail, and I feel like, well, except I know everyone's doing the same thing as me, is moving around cloaked up, so you don't really know. But sometimes it's so dead.
That's when you go crap.
Yeah. um. So at Vegas, the fun new Navy destroyers were rolled out. I like a lot of them. Like, I actually kind of want to fly all of them. I think the only one I don't really have much of a want to fly is the Cormorant, mainly because I don't know. I don't like railgun ships that much, but the new ships are nice. The new Navy ships, I do really like them, and I can't wait
They
to fly
look
them.
super cool too. They're not like completely brand new, but the art team did have fun with them,
Yeah,
and made them like a little bit unique from the other ones. It's not just like a reskin. They mess with the model. They added like armor plates on places.
yeah.
For the core, so they added like this weird lumpy thing to the side.
Nice.
Oh, yep, yep, yep. Yeah, they added some nice stuff to the ships, and I mean, they look nice with their navy color schemes on them, to say the least. But yeah, I like some of the bonuses for them and whatnot. I mean, I wish I was a high set ganker. I'd definitely fly the shit out of that catalyst. um, but I like the pass that was done on them, to make them come into existence. I think that was a hole that kind of needed to be shored up for the Navy ships, was tossing out the Navy destroyers.
Yeah, it does fill a nice little gap, specifically when we're talking about faction warfare, like the new plexes, where you'll just be able to fly more ships in them instead of just the same old, which like the meta has been pretty much figured out. So now the meta's like been shaken up quite a bit with the new different types of complexes, and you can take Navy destroyers in some of them. So that'll be really interesting to see. I've been tinkering on the test server because there's faction warfare war games going on right now
Ooh,
until November 4th, I think. So it's basically you sign up for either Minotaur or Amar, and the ones that cap the most systems and earn the most victory points, both on a corp and individual level, will be rewarded with some blueprints and some maybe some other stuff as well for the new ships.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
But
like.
the meta that they're flying is super cool. Like it's I saw Navy Dommies and Plexes, which I'd never seen basically ever on TQ.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, I mean, that's the one thing that I mean most of us here are kind of all bummed about without the allegiance thing, because I mean, like, I would probably get into an argument with Opus because Opus would want to take us into Gal Mill, and I'm just like, dude, we live out of Jeddah. Like, I'm not ruining my Caldari standings just because you're a Galente fanboy. But yeah, no, I've heard some things from some people that have been doing faction warfare that it's crazy right now how much fun they're having. Even on Tranquility.
Yeah. The one good news is that even though Allegiance isn't in right now, and it'll be coming in like the beginning of next year, you can still interact in this. So you can still go into the sites. Just you won't be able to score the victory points. You can just
Yeah.
have the brawls. And you can actually drop the propaganda structures and the listening outposts, which are these structures that you can just like throw out in space.
Yeah.
And they mess with the it's called the advantage system, but essentially it messes with the rate at which people can earn victory points and stuff like that. So you will generate a fight 100%. Like people do not want, once they realize the effect that these things have, it's like an instant fight generator. You just go there, throw it out in space, and someone's gonna have to come and do something about it.
Yeah. No, I like that. We've looked at it as Carbonite's Clade Alliance of all the hublub about faction warfare and how intense it is right now, that we mulled around a little bit, just starting to blops in on people from Pokemon.
Nice. That's my favorite part about the region, right? You can just hide in there. No one knows you're there, and then bam,
Oh yeah,
you're
they
on the go.
never expect you to blops because I mean, they can't they can't see you.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know where you're at. Yeah, and
You
then
can't see me.
and this is kind of just flipping over to the post on Reddit from Aurora, that nice LP cost reduction for Navy ships and for buying the blueprints instead of doing the trade in to make it more friendly to the builders. I think that was a
Yeah,
really nice touch.
I think she mentioned as well about building the navy ships as well, faction ships. It's going to be a little bit easier. They're
Yep.
removing some of the components for the smaller end of them. So essentially, like these things, it won't be just like insert LP get ship. There's going to be like a reason to get the BPCs and stuff like that. I know there's one guy on Reddit, so like every 2 months he makes a post, tags everyone he can, like, hey, this is broken, and we're like, it needs to be rebalanced. It's not broken. It works as as intended, but as intended, like so much has changed. So really happy that they were able to take a look at that for this expansion. So
Yep.
November should be a lot of good times.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, it's so I don't know the just seeing some of those things and some of those passes makes me happy. I think Reese has a different opinion on it, but it's making me happy.
I'm super excited about the Armageddon Navy.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
It's
my
being
god.
totally changed.
I'm excited for all the new Navy ships.
I was tinkering with I was chatting with CCP Aurora and the team because they CCP gets information from all over the place when they do balance stuff. And I'm not game design or anything, but I like to think that my role is to just throw so many bad ideas at the wall that eventually they'll be like, hey, these are bad, but if I take like this element from this bad idea, like this element from this bad idea, and combine it with my giant 5 head brain, I can make a good idea. And so there is like some elements of my bad ideas in there. I'm like, yeah, feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And then what I got super excited from with the whole E Vegas thing is, there was two things that one of them made me be like, damn it, I wish this would have happened earlier. We got screwed because of a frig hole when we were helping out some wormhole friends. A frig hole screwed us royally. So the duration getting dropped down to about 4.5 hours is like, oh man, that would have saved our lives. But the I'm super excited about the fleet watch list getting bumped up to mad amounts.
That's a game
Yeah,
changer.
it really is, right? So as long as I've played Eve, the watch list was at 10, and then we expanded it to 15, and I was like, whoa, this is huge. And now they're just going like, you know what? Like the back end is fine now. Let's just try 100 and see what happens. There's a chance that it'll be a little bit less than 100, but 100 is what they're aiming for. So I'd say maybe the worst case it goes from 15 to 50.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to get really beefy for Logi pilots. They can have a full screen of people on watch list. Um, hopefully, people will still remember the broadcast.
Yeah, broadcasts are very important. I just hate the whole, with the 15-man struggle of when you're, above 15 people in your fleet, you're just like, shit, okay, these people need to make sure that they're on each other's watch list. No, just click and call it a day.
Yeah, and I think it even adds like some new roles to fleets as well. Like the guy that just makes sure or like measures the rate at which you're losing. It's much easier to see. Like we used to have a guy in PL who that was his only job, and he would just have a Rex only overview, and he would just fly around and be like, "Yep, I see like 6 PL Rex." But I see like 20 bad guy Rex, so you're doing okay so far. Um, now it'll be a little bit easier to see because you can just see in real time how people are like tanking and not tanking.
Yep. Yeah. How fast your fleet's actually dying instead of like, well, I don't have those people on my fleet watch list, so I don't know how we're doing.
Yeah, they don't matter.
That then what alliances are going to be able to put out there, your fits for on alliance
Yeah.
level, bumping up the amount of fits you can store, because I've been deleting stuff off there for
Yeah, that makes a difference because it's a lot easier to get people together when it's just like, hey, you don't have to go to another place to get your fits. It's right here, you know?
Yeah, and the especially for larger alliances, like the corps don't always have like the infrastructure to keep everything updated, so you'll be flying like the wrong Munin in some cases, or you'll just be like just flying the wrong Doctrine Interceptor. Like, oh, that was from like 2 deployments ago or something like that. So now there can be just a single source, and I think there's 600 fits in there. And if you have to mass delete a bunch of Munin fits, you can now mass delete on from the Alliance Corp and individual fittings instead of
Hmm.
just going one by one. So
yeah.
just like
That
a few
helps.
small things that we should that honestly like we should have done from the get-go, but like for some reason it just wasn't there. And people have been like really good at communicating both internally and through the CSM and through other venues, like, hey, this is annoying, can we change this? And oftentimes like CCP Cargo just writes it down in a book. Like she doesn't forget that it happened, she's just like, yo, I'm writing this down. And then once in a while she'll be like have a little bit of free time and just nuke these out one by one. Obviously she's not the only one, but she's probably the one that's most like iconically associated with it. There's actually an entire team within CCP that's kind of dedicated towards going through like quality of life things that um, can be done to just make Eve more enjoyable. Just like pain points that have like just propped up over the last 20 years, just getting them, knocking them out. And they'll be continuing to work on these things even after the expansion. So it's not just like a one and done. There'll be more things in the future too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of the stuff I feel like it was, it had it with it happening. It's like, okay, cool. We're starting to see some of these things like plop out really quick. Because I mean, I remember just we talked about this last time you were on with Aurora, where I was like, the first time I fired this up during COVID, because I hadn't played Eve since like 2016. I was like, why are my target things round instead of squares with bars in her? Like, because I was thinking all the way back to like my very very early days of Eve, where like everything was super blocky, and the skill tree, like going through the skills, it's kind of a pain in the ass for the first time. So seeing some of these things, it's like, fuck yes, finally. Because I actually occasionally go through all my fittings because I'm just like, I have ships that are you can't fit them that way anymore. Saved. Like I should probably delete these out or keep the idea behind it
Yeah.
and modify it to how the ship is now. Because I remember coming back and when I came back, fired up Eve for the first time in 4 years, I was like, I can't fly my Mercurial. It doesn't work this way anymore. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's got an extra slot where there is no slot literally anymore. Like I don't know how this happened.
I was
That's
sitting.
also like some of the mining ships too that
Yeah,
lost some slots and gained some slots. And it's like, oh, this fit doesn't work. What's going on?
I have to go through some of those ships that I have sitting around on my main that are sitting in
I think
Pogfin because I haven't mined in a while.
the first week or 2 weeks, probably even the first like month after the expansion, there's going to be chaos with people because we've changed so much, or we will be changing so much. Not only like ship fits, but just like interactions with how Abyss Space works, interactions with like ganking. Yeah, it's definitely going to be absolute chaos for that first week for people that are. We like to like hope that everyone reads patch notes and stuff like that, but we know like there's a massive group of people that don't. They'll just wait for bad stuff to happen and they'll figure out what happened after the fact. So yeah, hopefully with people coming back and getting in the hang of it, people aren't gonna forget all the like tiny things that are changing that might affect their play styles.
Now I will go a little negative on this. I don't know if Kylon's still using it. I cannot use Photon UI right now.
Oh yeah, I'm using it. I kind of like it.
I
All the compact modes, and you can break the D scan and the probe scanner out of their like container and dock them with other windows. And yeah, I like that.
That's
there
better.
there is some very nice things for it, but there are some things that drive me up the wall.
The drone window, I don't know, might be too big.
The drone window is a little wonky. Some of the spacing and gapping, I like everything nice and tight and compact and not lose information. And some of the borders are just like,
One of the things you can try to do is you can tinker with the UI scaling and bring it to like 90% if you like them really nice and tight.
I'm on 90. I live on 90.
Okay. Yeah, they're actually the cool thing about obviously changing the UI. Everyone's gonna hate it. Like nobody's gonna like that.
Oh,
But the team's been pretty good at like responding every week to like feedback. So
yeah.
this is like one of the one of the times you can actually post like a gripe on the forums, and as long as you do it in a way that they can understand, like here's the issue, here's what I like with the original one or with the existing overview. In like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll very likely to see that changed into Photon. So this thing is pretty much changing based on feedback as much as possible, and the tech behind it is also really neat. So I showed this at Vegas, just a mock-up, and I think we showed it on stream too, where with Photon you could actually, well, they're working on it. It's not coming in the expansion, but it's something they physically can do now. Is they can break the tabs out of the overview, and so you can have all of the overview tabs existing independently of one another. So you could have like 8 different
Oh whoa.
overviews.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So you could have one that's like recon only, one that's like rec only, um, and one which is just like your normal PvP one, a normal travel one, and just have them all existing on your screen at the same time. I know CCP Aurora is joking, is like eventually our goal is to make it so your entire screen is just windows and you don't see the spaceships, but
Then you just put
only partially true.
then you can put your computer in potato mode and literally feel like you're playing Excel spreadsheets in space.
Exactly, yeah. Just Control Shift F9, have all these overviews out. Who needs anything else? Who needs graphics?
Yeah, there was some things, like some of the things for Photon UI I really liked, but then I know we figured out that it was probably I had to clear catch files or something, because every time I undocked I couldn't see my guns anymore, and I had to go through the overview to pop them all back up. So I just got really frustrated and pissed at that point.
there's definitely like been moments for me where it just, especially early on in the process, but like before, while it was still opt-in, there were things that were just broken, and I'd get so mad. I just like rage, change it back to the other one, and just restart. But for the last couple weeks, at least, I've gotten used to it, and I'm still like a boomer when it comes to Eve. I don't even use the radial menu. Like I try, I know it exists. I know it's got like a lot of functionality, but I just still just like right click, go through Windows instead, or just like control click on stuff. I and then click on the little buttons or have a shortcut for it.
It's what happens when you've played Eve for too long. You forget that they put these
Yes.
newfangled interesting contraptions in there, and you're just doing it the old way, and someone teaches you, hey, this is the fast way, and you're like, wait, what? That exists?
Yeah, and you're just like, wait, but I like it my way.
Yeah, I like it the shitty way. Like, please, that's what I'm used to.
Don't confuse me, please.
But with this one, I
What do you
gave it
mean?
like 2 weeks, and then I can't go back, right? Like it's
The only thing that's really odd for me is like the color of security status, and in the new UI is like doesn't differentiate low sex so easily as it used to.
yeah. I think they, if they haven't changed it, they are in the process of changing it. They've got a new like color setting that's more similar to the original, where you can kind of see when you go from 0.5 to 0.4.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I think Kids Material posted on the Eve subreddit that he couldn't like Abzon or whatever the system between Amar and Jita, like his eyes just wouldn't show that it was a different color, just because the I guess they were two, like really similar. So the team was like, oh shit, let's not screw people over that way, and so they were tinkering with the colors, like yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean,
every low sec pilot is getting bummed that we're talking about this out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, imagine you're the guys that camp that pipe. A, it's already the most like destructive pipe in the game, but
yeah.
Now people are not
yeah.
paying attention even more.
There was an amazing patch a couple years ago, probably 10 plus years ago now, but I remember these things for some reason, where CCP just broke the autopilot settings and was sending everyone through Rancer. Even if they had like autopilot set to safest, they'd just be like, oh, Rancer it is. And so yeah, everyone going to Jita just died. Jump freighters, anything on autopilot,
Why you
just
verify your
died.
route?
Yeah, yeah.
you,
But
It
color
was
used to be the way you would quickly identify. You know.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
now it's kind of know your
Like
route
that's
a
a
little
little
bit.
too orange. Time to get out.
I do agree with Tommy. I don't think CCP did that on accident. They were purposely routing everyone to die in Rancer.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta throw those guys a bone. You know, they get lonely.
um, get back a little bit on track for the E Vegas post. I wonder, did that room kind of like get super excited with the, you know, all the additions for alliances and corps skins? Like,
Yeah, like I think people wanted to see it as well. Like so the pictures we had at Vegas, it was kind of hard to make out, but I saw like once people were tinkering on the test server with this. Brave has this great picture. I think Dunk Tinkle tweeted it, that Jinx had captured. It was just like a Atron with the biosecurity skin that's kind of like their colors, and then the Brave emblem on it. Oh, it looks so good. And then Rix did one with the Deathglow Hunter skin, and then their logo on the front of an Oracle. And oh man, it looks so good. It's not going to be for every ship straight off. Like the art
yeah,
team has it done for every ship, and they change like the positioning. They just want to change they just want to do a staggered rollout with it.
yep.
So the first one you should be able to get something for battle cruisers, destroyers, frigates, haulers, and dreads, um, all the way up. So
Yeah, it's
everyone should be able to get a little bit of something. And the way they're unlocked is you have to go through these special missions. Um, so yeah, it's not something that you can kind of pay to win at. You can't just like buy the unlock. You actually have to earn. You have to actually earn it. And then one of the slides, which was actually hidden at eVegas, just because I fat fingered it, and like the guy that was running through the slides, it was actually like the wedding DJ who was like clicking through the slides for me. He clicked through a little bit too fast. But it was like a prototype mock-up of a type of um, just like it's hard to describe, something that unlocks based on kill marks, which is like
oh
coming in the
yeah, yep,
future.
yep.
So
Yeah,
like your ship could get more like red and like more flames and just more swagger coming out the side, um, if you had like something like 50 kill marks or something. It's still work in progress, but this is where the tech can take us.
yeah. No,
Oh, that's pretty good.
Drake it has been like, yeah, I don't want to take my Panther out anymore because when that comes out, he's like, I want my Panther looking badass. He's like, I want to be the first one to be like, I got the maxed one. I got the maxed kill mark
Well,
badass ship
dynamic
now.
skins is an interesting idea, though. You know, things that change with what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone will make fun of Kybernauts for our blue and yellow Alliance logo, even though we took the colors for P-Rune for our logo, and everyone will be like, "Your little shack looks like shit. It's got that logo on it, and it doesn't match with black and red."
Mm. Not a
Morty,
lot of people do black and red, though.
everyone did black and red. Um, all right, I've switched over now to oh man, that Aurora post was just so much to digest. All right, I don't know about you guys. I don't fly hacks too often. The only hack I do like to fly is Nikki, of course. Um, but the hack pass, holy shit, is that going to change the meta so good?
That's big. It's huge.
Like,
It's actually amazing to think about that it's going to change the hack meta so much because I can't tell you how many Noblex that I knew that were just like Munins, get them up, and it's like, hmm,
yeah.
Yeah, there was it was just so it's a bunch of problems that just essentially made the mutant really really good. There are other options as well that like some people are fine. Like there's an EOS doctrine, I know there's a Paladin doctrine, but it just a couple of things that just made the mutant specifically really really good to the point where you just needed once you hit a critical mass, you would
click
just
and
alpha
delete.
ships. Yeah, and that's just a problem with alpha, right? Like this happens, like we've seen them before with sniper battleships way back in the day, with maelstroms, already maelstroms in like 20 from like 2008 to 2012. Those were like the meta. Then we saw Max do the same thing for a while, like around 2016. It just turns out being able to push a button and evaporate someone's really really good, and then hacks could do it from a pretty good range. It wasn't just immune, like Eagle serve. They could do it from range. They can go fast. And if they get caught, they have an ADC button, which gives them like 600k EHP if they like press it right.
God mode is
Hmm.
enabled. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which also just makes mutants even better, right? Because you can get people before they push it, so you can just explodify them before they can push the little button.
Yeah.
And their cycle time is similar to the cycle time of an ADC, so the second one would absolutely kill them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of changes on hacks, like reducing the range, changing their bonuses. The mutants now
A
a
missile
missile
boat.
ship,
That's
which is
just
actually
silly.
kind of cool, right? Like there wasn't really a ham fit for the Mimitar relay, so
No, no, there wasn't. Which is, I think it's cool. It's a nice change up. It also, kills the Munin fleet, which is cool. I just like that all the hacks are kind of, they're getting that touch of, hey, these need to kind of be a cruiser, not a small battleship. Like, a small battleship that moves fast and has the oh fuck button. It's
yeah. I mean,
it's
they'll still be viable, right? And they'll just scale a little bit differently and kind of open up what kind of is good.
yeah.
So they'll have to come in a little bit closer, so they can't just really sit at 70 km and run away the first sign of trouble. They'll have to commit a little bit more, right? Like bring people in a little bit closer, which opens up a ton of opportunity, right? You get people suddenly like you can web things with an armor doctrine, right? Because a Loki can go out and hit like 45, 50 with webs. Um, if you're in a wormhole, you can even use Balgorns, or low sec, you can use Balgorns and get them when they're a little bit closer, help you apply more damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that I think is great because God, the Serb fleets that I'd see, it wouldn't even be like a big Serb fleet, but like, 15 Serbs pop on grid and you're just like, fuck me.
Nah, not dealing with that.
I'm leaving now.
Search are just good though overall. You
Yeah.
know.
But that touched the hacks, which I'm happy. I'm hoping Aurora forgot to look at a different hack that isn't in the Empires and just leaves it alone.
I know there was some talk about the Icky, but it has like a different issue, right? Because they're not super cheap.
Oh no, they're not. Yeah.
So one of the and we don't like the balancing doesn't balance around price. That's like a really bad way to do things. But like
Yeah.
the Icky does take significantly more to build because it's just by virtue of how you get them.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're probably in a really nice spot, and the way they scale, it's actually not problematic either. Like the Triglavian ships, similar to the Mordu ships, like they don't really scale all that well, but they're really really good in like peak row and up to like medium gang size fleets. Like
Oh yeah.
they thrive.
Yeah, they live in that
Which
territory. Well, you can tell that to Rote Capel. I mean, they bust out the pancake fleet every once in a while and wreck fleets in Pokemon.
yeah, I think there's some other people that are actually gonna that have realized that hey the Bargus is pretty good, and it scales pretty nicely. It kind of does a lot with like what the mutant does, but
Yeah.
a a little bit less survivable, and obviously quite a bit slower. Well, more cumbersome, I guess. Not necessarily slower, but warp speed's way slower. No ADC,
Yep.
and then when you whelp a fleet, you feel a big sting.
Yep. You feel really hurt. I remember when those prices started creeping up and I bought one, and I saw like at one point they were like 1.4, 1.5 billion isk just for the hull, and I was like, I'm so happy I bought mine at 900 million.
Yeah, I bought one via Hypernet because like the market was all screwed. I was like, all right, if I'll just buy half the tickets on this one. If I win, it was meant to be. If not, let's just curse the Hypernet, which no one should ever do. You shouldn't Hypernet. But I
Nothing
did.
better than buying one ticket and getting something big from someone,
Oh.
and then they get pissed.
What you mean?
Oh,
You mean
feels
what
so
I've
good.
done a few times? That's how I got both of my nightmares and one of my ickies. I bought one ticket and won.
And people get so salty.
Oh shit! That is the fun part of the hypernet. Is sometimes I'm just like, you can tell this dude is just trying to rake in people's money, doing the hypernet kind of scammy thing where he uses his alt to buy half the tickets, and then it's like you see the person that bought one ticket win, and you're like, you just screwed that dude over. Always makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you got to be ready for. You got to know that when you start with a hypernet, you need to only use your disposable income,
Mm-hmm.
not money that you need,
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Which my disposable income is decreased a lot after buying 2 Zenitras, so.
2?
Yep, I bought 2 of them. Kybernauts Clade has backed out of the Zenitra making game, so I bought the last 2 Kybernauts Clade guys built.
Why would they pull out of it? Zenitre's good. Fun.
Because they had a bunch of orders and then it cooled off. Because I think people are the same as me. Is like they're kind of like, until I get my multi-character training going, it's just sitting in an NPC structure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tommy, you will probably never see it. Ask me where it's at. We have some really nice friends of ours that are we're going to be doing some fun things with them. So so my Zenitras, I can't wait to get that multiple character training. I'll finally use that last slot on my main account to fill it out and get that Zenitra pilot going. Structure bash like a motherfucker. But all right. Caracal Navy issue got a nice touch. It kind of is like a missile boat now.
It went from being like in this weird no man's land where it kind of sucked at everything to being
yeah.
hopefully pretty good.
You mean less than 10 basically being like, yeah, the O&I is like the Caracal.
Yeah. The O&I kind of outshined it in every way.
Yeah. So that's a cool little touch. I just actually recently finished my heavy assault missile specialization 5, so I have to tinker around with some heavy assault missile fits because that might be fun once they change that Caracal up a little bit. Executor Navy issue. I am actually really excited about this. Kybernauts Clay did a Secret Santa last year, and one of the guys gave me like a brick tank one, and I was just like, I need to fly it. And the changes on this are like pretty freaking good. I mean, down by 1 turret, but more damage to make up for it. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be a fun ship to fuck around in.
Yeah, it's up in effective turrets, up in power grid, and this armor plate mass penalty bonus just makes it way more agile. And it's already like an insanely agile ship. And they bumped up the speed. Like this thing, I can boogie and go in. I used to dual prop mine, but just by virtue of like how tight fitting was, I basically had to do electrons, which always feels bad. Like I don't know if you feel blasters, you don't want electrons. Like that's the worst.
Yep. Yeah. That tight fitting was always the problem. That's why I never really did it. But when my court mate gave me that, I was like, this is actually a brick tank motherfucker of a ship. Like, I just was looking at the effective EHP on it. And I was like, is this supposed to be like close to a battleship?
Yeah, it's a fun little ship. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it'll see some more use, especially like as I was saying before, like in the complexes that are just like Navy cruisers.
Yeah.
You can't take like pirate cruisers. You can't take Tech 2 cruisers.
Can't take
It's
trigs.
just gonna be no trigs. Uh, it's just gonna be like this amazing area for it to thrive, and also just a fun ship to roam around in, right?
Yeah.
Like you could kind of scram kite with it as well. It's kind of a nice little fall off bonus.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I can't wait for the faction warfare allegiances to come out, because I probably will fuck around quite a bit in faction warfare. Like the way it has changed. Seems like it's gonna be such a fun place to have as a playground, compared to kind of how it was as a dead place for the longest time, where very few people were actually participating in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, where it was full of bots.
Yeah,
it was a system that was pretty much figured out as well, right? So that there's no fun in that. You always want to go to a system where it's not completely figured out. One thing that's really neat about faction warfare stuff, and this is something we kind of talked about a little bit at Vegas, is because of the way that they're designing it, it's not just like this hacked together thing only for faction warfare or only for low sec. Like these are systems that can be moved elsewhere, right? So like just as a proof of concept, like if this works as it's intended in low sec, like it could feasibly be elsewhere. Like this could be the new capture mechanic for null sec space.
ooh,
Uh, maybe like something like this goes out to even areas of high sec space. Like the world is pretty much limitless because the system can be just put there.
does it start being applied also to specific sun types, and you get some tendrils of Pakvin coming out again?
Who knows? I know the design teams have like
Yeah.
a lot of cool thoughts. That's one of the neatest things about working at CCPs. You just get to hear everyone's crazy harebrained ideas, um, and then we just get to like narrow it down, try and focus it, and kind of make something that kind of makes sense and works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what might be happening over in Turner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think a
some
lot of trigs are
stellar
in there.
events.
The
Nice
latest
secret.
scope videos have pretty much spelled it out a little bit. Like so, this event has been going on since the summer, and obviously, like we're talking about narrative stuff. There's only so many people that are interested, but like as more and more shit becomes important to these systems, like
Hmm.
new Navy battle cruisers through this and the new exploration frigates by interacting with this thing. And we saw like the Minmatar faction warfare dudes go from 2 systems to 34 or something insane in 3 or 4 weeks, and they captured 2 of the stellar harvesters. There's this one in Turner, the first one, which is doing some funky shit. If you want to fly out there and look at the sun, especially you Pakfin guys, you can probably attest to something not good might happen there.
You see that sun? We stole that sun.
Yeah.
My hope is that this activates the third unused gate in the home system.
That would be so badass. I think everyone wants Bouillon to be accessed, like something that we can actually go to. I think that's the one. Besides most Trig players doing the same things where they want a T3C, I think right behind the T3C or the T3D is literally Bouillon being opened up and having more Triglavian systems. Like every Trig would love to see that happen. I'm
Or maybe
curious.
a temporary gate that, that third gate, maybe it can go,
It
somewhere
roams.
this month and a different place next month.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I know. Well, of course, because we have Uriel in Kybernauts. I know he wants to go do some stuff because he's RP extraordinaire. I know a couple people that want to go out there and are like, yeah, I'm probably gonna like literally sit in system all day.
Yeah, I can't remember if the scope actually had nailed down the exact date and time
think
when
November 4th.
things might happen.
Yeah, they called out. It's like, I think 1700 on the second, maybe. Yeah, they
Yeah,
called
I
out
think
a
it's the
specific
second.
time.
It might be the second. Yeah.
Yeah, so some players had seen the like coronal mass ejections coming out of the sun at faster and faster rates, and it was like linear, and so they're able to like deduce when some event with the sun might happen, and so that was pretty cool. Like players are insanely clever when it comes to this shit. Like
That
I
reminds me
know,
so much of when the gates started flickering before Potion was created.
yeah, exactly. Like it's the
That's
same
why I
thing.
think
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, right? And then I'll kind of like, I guess so at FanFest, like the guys were talking about like narrative driven design, and it wasn't really like super apparent like what that meant. Where people thought like, oh, they just don't care about Eve's stories anymore. They're just gonna do like this first person type game or something. I don't know. Without concrete examples, it's really hard to like put like just put in the focus. And so hopefully this will start to clear things up. So like the new ships and like new things will happen because of what happens in the game, but still you get your expansion, you get your patches where there's balance changes, there's new ships, there's stuff like that. But now there's
Yeah.
like a narrative lore reason why it happened. It's not just like they just blinked into existence one day from weird superpowers. Like that was the whole goal, right? Not to replace Eve player stories, but just to make it make a little bit more sense when shit does change.
Kind of give a framework for the player story to build around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely the goal, right? Like there's no one wants to replace like player stories at all. Like that
Yeah.
shit is something that even the most talented writers can't like figure out. Like Eve player stories are the dopest. Like the betrayals, like the camaraderie, like the working together. It's just so cool.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. The player story is great, and I always giggle when people are like, "I'm not an RPer." I'm like, dude, you kind of are. Like everyone
Yeah,
is an RPer, and you're literally playing a character you created. Everyone's role playing. This is an MMO. Like,
It's just different levels. That's all.
yeah.
You
I
know,
I don't run
whether
around being
you're in a
like,
fleet or not.
okay, I do run around saying Zoria Uwu, but I I don't, I'm not like the hardcore RPers that, literally will RP their character, but it's still that fun game of like, I'm a weirdo Triglavian based player. Like I accept it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You can call me an RPer all up and down all day long, but I don't RP anything. I literally just rage as a triangle. So yeah, that's cool. I'm really excited. I just sometimes Swift. Sometimes I hate the times that CCP chooses like for something if it is at 1700. That is on like a Wednesday. I had this thing called a job that I can't be at my computer for.
yeah.
It's
We do
hard to
try
make
do
it happy
things
for
like
everyone. I get that
It's
one.
probably when the most people are online.
Yeah, it is.
it's also like it's literally just a lot of the times where CCPers are there too. Like
Yeah.
That makes sense.
ideally, I think everything would be at like 2100 Eve. Like I think that would be the perfect time because that feels like that's always felt between like 17 or between like 1800 and 2100. Always seems to be that nice overlap where Euros are still on and like US guys are starting to show up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every time I was like doing fleet stuff, I'd always try and get like a 2100 op to get like max numbers for my guys. But
Or
it's just too big of an ask to have CCP show up to the office at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, time to deploy the patch. Like, let's go.
whereas there's like me where I'm just like, hey guys, I'm sorry Euro Bros, but I'm doing 0-100 fleet tonight.
Yeah. Bjorn, CCP B, formerly Bjorn B.
Yep.
Actually like took out an 0900 on Friday, like an 0900 fleet, like internally for CCP, to Pakvin.
Oh yes.
Oh.
It wasn't streamed or anything. We just like they're just like, hey, you guys want to before morning meetings, you just want to go out and goof around in Pak, and like I think there were like 15 of us that were like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that you engaged, or you were in mining in Senda or something like that, and got
Yeah, like combat
to,
miners.
that to some paladins maybe.
We gave one paladin pilot the fight of his life.
Heck yeah.
He had just like warped in at 70, and then they're just a fleet of mining barges zerging at him one at a time, and he just got to go bastion and just pop one after the other after the other.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the amount of blingy ass shit in Pokemon is pretty hilarious sometimes.
Are you
'Cause
trying to tempt hunters to come by and kill them? Is that what you're
Paladins,
trying to
yes,
do?
I would love to watch Paladins just start getting blopped all the time.
Get mulched.
Put them through the wood chipper.
Yeah, we want everyone to know that so they come in and we can shoot them.
That's just like, when I laugh when I see the like, hey, we're gonna do a small gang roam into Pochven today at this day at this time, and I'm like, and you're gonna see what Pochven does when you announce that outsiders are coming in. Every gate is gonna get bubble fucked, and you're gonna die the first system you land in.
It kind of feels like the same type of community building when like wormholes were first a thing.
Yep.
Like there is that still like, hey, if someone tries to come on and screw us over, we'll just band together despite everything else and like force them out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I remember those days. I remember when wormholes first became a thing. Oh, I do not miss building shit for wormholes. Spent way too much of my Eve career mining to help build stuff.
I'm currently I'm in like a little corp with my alt and a few other CCPers, and we're in a C5 with a static C5, and we just take paladins, go through sites. Sometimes we'll do an escalation or two, a capital escalation or two.
So
Most of the times we'll get scared.
basically figure out what wormhole that is, and let choice members of the Eve community know where it's at. So there's a little bit of fun that happens, right?
Yeah, we just type /heal 0 to a point. No.
Putting God mode on. You have your cockroach out there. It's all good. Oh shit. Yeah. No, yeah, Pokemon sometimes like the craziness when people announce like, oh yeah, we're like, I feel bad for Arc because we have guys that do stuff with Arc. But then like on the flip side, as triangles, like it's literally rage pinged through the discords of, hey, they're gonna be doing this. We need to delete them. They are interloping in our space. Just to mess with we're messing with the RPers, but it's so much fun to be like, yeah, we're not RPers, but you guys are doing RP stuff, so I guess we got to mess with you as triangles. It's always a lot of fun. Kind of got a couple last things ship-wise to go through, just because I figure we might as well run through them. I don't want the hack update. If you fly a hack, just find Aurora's post. It literally every single hack has changes going on to it. Some of them are quick and easy changes. Some of them are just, reduction in target range. And other ones
overall.
The Zealot and the Demos were just like a little touch. Like,
yeah,
bring your
Zealot,
targeting range
Ishtar, Demos. Yeah, it was just like, hey, we gotta do it like the rest of the hacks and just remove their long range targeting. And then others are just like the Munin or the Eagle or the Serb are just like a giant list of stuff to go through. But some of the other fun ones that Kylon brought up, because Dami Navy issue, it got a light touch.
It's kind of like a bit of a Hyperion now too. Like it gets the rep amount bonus.
Yep, it got that,
which I think is really, really fun.
Yeah, it got that nice little touch to kind of push it in the right direction. But the Armageddon Navy issue, oh damn, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That is gonna be so much fun.
So it's a missile boat?
Yeah, it's a missile boat now.
It's got 5 mid slots.
It's just like a better Geddon now. So it gets drones, newts, and missiles.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. Said it's the only a Mars ship with 5 mid slots or something like that.
That's probably the case. I can't think of another one that gets 5, though my Eve knowledge is like kind of rusty. Does the Abaddon have 4? Like I think the Abaddon probably has 4.
Exec Navy spam coming to Pokemon soon. I can agree with that one. But yeah, no, that I just love that 10% bonus to Nosferatu and Neutralizer optimal range.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love my new boats. Like, they are so much fun. Like,
Yeah, they're fun to fly in. They're fun to be in because you know the other person on the other side of it is just having a miserable existence. Right? Like I think everyone's been there where they have no capacitor and all they hear is like the capacitor is empty as they try and like push every single button.
The
Uh,
capacitor is empty.
yeah,
Ev- every time I bust out my Balgorn in in Pokemon, it's normally they are warping to pings to be further away from me, and and waiting for people to leave my vicinity on my side of the fleet to go close to them, and then attacking just so they stay out of newt range. Yeah, newting's so much fun. Typhoon it's getting a bump for cruise missiles and large turrets, which is good. I think it needed a little bit of a touch on that. I've seen Typhoon fleets here and there, but yeah, that's a good touch compared to the regular Foon. The Crow is getting an interesting touch.
yeah, it's becoming a little bit more tanky.
Yeah.
The Crow used to be like far and away the best interceptor. Like, and we're talking years ago, and then they just hammered it. They just hit it with just the biggest nerf bat ever, and it's never really recovered.
Yeah.
So hopefully this does a little bit more, so it's not just maledictions everywhere.
Yep. I love my malediction. But yeah, no, that's a good touch. I think that was a good choice because it is kind of stupid to have the explosion radius for lights and rockets. Giving them a little tank was a really good choice. Bellicose will be interesting for a full flight of lights, which will be cool. Proteus, I still won't fly it, but it's getting a bump in speed. It's the one T3C that I look at as a giant hot piece of garbage compared to the rest. As much as I love blaster boats and getting up close and personal, like I love my Hecate, but the Proteus is just like,
Yeah, this is like so we're in this cool zone where the Proteus has gotten like 3 buffs in a row.
yeah.
So eventually it's gonna be good, right? Like eventually
Eventually it'll be a good
people will
brawler.
realize it.
Yeah, eventually
I
it'll be a
think it's
good brawler.
probably in an okay spot now, but not enough. There's not like enough of an incentive to even try to fly it because everything else is like slightly better,
Yeah.
or at least on par with this, or like just why.
Yeah.
Now it can kind of keep up. Yeah, it'll be curious to see if this is enough or that's always my favorite part of like when game balance happens. You know, like the dog tier ships, like the F tier ships, and you just see the balance passes like buff this one a little bit, and it goes from like F class to like C class, and then eventually just goes to like
S plus.
like the best. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden, like someone figures out the perfect fit for it, and it's just like it is murdering everything now. And then everyone at CCP is running around that there's a fire going on,
Yeah.
going,
Like,
"Oh, we gotta
I
nerf
finally
this."
Stitch Kylon broke it. Like, oh god.
Yeah, pretty much. That is a very good person to say that for. Rifters getting a touch, fire rate bonus of 2.5%. Ishkur is getting a nice little touch.
Yeah, I think people are kind of they're not sure where to land on this one because it is losing a low slot, which people probably would have rather had the mid slot, but it's getting a really strong bonus to the armor repair amount. That's that's one of the bigger bonuses.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I do like how the thought process is kind of get it out from the shadow of the Inyo.
Yeah.
That is a good touch. And then yeah, the rest is just I'm just looking at this post and how long it takes to scroll through the hacks compared to the rest of it is just hilarious. So yeah, you guys can read that. You guys can read the assault cruiser balance pass that Aurora did on your own time. It is too nuanced, and I don't really. I mean, we do have some hack fits for our alliance for the fun, but I've never been on those 200-man Munin fleets that are just target, fire, deleted. So
You're a bit flappy.
Yeah, and I think people just stopped having fun with them too. It just like if you didn't do it, someone else would do it, and they'd probably beat you. So might as well.
I guess I
So
got to
yeah,
do
it's
it.
really nice. Yeah. So we're adding a bunch of new ships, changing the meta on a lot of existing ones. So
Yeah.
things should change quite a bit. I have my suspicions where I think it's gonna go, but EF players are really good at breaking stuff. I have no idea what it's gonna be. Like if I'm being completely honest with myself, right? Like
You
I
give us
can
a rock.
guess, I know.
You give us
Just
a
give it
rock,
to
we make a
players
wheel.
and watch it break. You ever hear about when like there was initial like ecosystem idea that a dev had and they left it to the players and everything in the ecosystem was murdered and it couldn't respawn. They had to rethink the whole thing.
Wouldn't surprise me. Like I like to pride myself on breaking stuff, especially as a player. Like every time there was a new event, I try to break it because that's where you can make like the most is. I think the winter event, the winter Nexus event, I think players just universally broke the crap out of it. Um, because like you just see how
Or
much insane is you could make.
Never.
This event is also pretty easy to break. Like I saw it was a streamer Chaos, and then some numbers. I forget the numbers, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm up to like 400 mil for every other site I'm doing." I'm like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
this guy's made like 16 bill running these
Um,
sites."
I think it was the Winter Nexus event, and then it was the smuggling event. Between those two events, I think because I was keeping certain things for myself, so I lost some of the money. I couldn't make it all, but I think total, just for my lazy playing, where I literally would do it for like a day and burn through the point awards in like 5 hours. I was like, oh cool, I made cool like 3 bill doing this and burned through like I was like, I'm good. Like I don't need to do this event anymore.
That low sec ice mining, I made a ton of ISK off that.
Yeah. And those sites were super fun because you could just like film it there, and
Yep.
then you're done.
And nothing but ore ships could come in the site. So occasionally you'd run into a little fleet of battle ventures and stuff like that. But
Since we
that's fun stuff.
since we have Swift on, can we have you personally thank him for doing QA QC for event stuff for the Totality Day festivities? Because like from last year to this year, just actually having a lot like true pretty much event kind of going on for it was glorious. That, and I know Kylon probably feels the same way as me, is that was great having everything in Pochfin drops 90% of its loot, and then the harvest comes out like a week later. So
yeah.
more loot dropping.
Definitely loved it. And the warp speed boost is always very refreshing as well.
Yeah.
I want to say like I think the Pochman community has been like the coolest to work with, because I don't know, like not too long ago, like maybe this time last year, Pochman was in kind of like this weird state
Yeah.
where there was like massive seagulling, like only certain
Yeah.
people there, and it kind of sucked. Then you guys all got together and made this like really nice, really well thought out post, like, "Hey, here's what's just like fucked about this region. You guys had like a really good thing going, but like these pain points make it unlivable." And then the design team were like, "Okay, cool, let's take these things." Like you guys didn't try to redesign it. You're just like, "Here's what sucks about it, right? Like fix this." So they went through, they made a few small changes, and now it's like one of the coolest little areas of space. Like I love it. Like it is just so cool. And even like Totality Day stuff, like that came up because players like just made this thing up, and Team Raw, the events team, were just like, "Cool, let's make it real. Like let's make this exist in the game."
Yeah. I know when I brought it up when I had Kestrel on, he was like, "Oh yeah, that is coming up pretty soon, isn't it?" like that
oh,
that Totality Day
need
was
to
around the
remember
corner.
to do something.
Yeah, because we already started throwing our events, our player ran events together. That was pretty good. But yeah, no, yeah, you guys helped us a lot with Pakvin. I mean, I do actually miss people whining though about two different things. I know you guys did it for the high sectors that didn't have trig standings that were getting blapped because there'd be the response fleets out when the wormhole was in that system. And B, I miss the tears, the glorious tears of salt that someone got DD'd while in warp. My favorite thing is listening to people be like, I just got DD'd and I was in warp. And like it just at one point it was just you were so used to it, you're just like, fuck.
I mean, what did you expect? You're in Pockfin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the rats, especially next to Jita, were like a
That was
little
good.
annoying.
That was so good though.
You can still sort of get it near Laturia, right? So it's a system a lot of people go through,
Yeah.
and they don't realize that trigs are going to be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I've
there's
seen a few people just like in suicide scram ships, and when like a freighter comes through, they'll just like suicide scram the freighter. They'll instantly, well, they'll die in like 5 or 6 seconds, but it's long enough for the trig rats to come down and tackle the freighter, kill it, and then they'll just like loot the rest. It's like super inventive. Like I guarantee the designers that when they were like coming up with this idea of like where the rats would be and stuff, they never thought like someone would do stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
And
sure.
It's
then
all
of
part of it,
course,
though.
But I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
but like I mean like I just remember when I first came back, I was all excited because I saw the trig ships. And then the event invasions were going on, so I was super excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, I can shape Eve." And
Yeah.
when I first got in, I joined a corp that lived out of a trig minor victory system. Well, they were very nice and told me I needed trig standings. So I may or may not lost like 1.5 billion in moving, and then
These things happen.
yep, and then Yarja fell, and I was like, you know what? Like the invasions ended, I was like, you know what? I should probably go back and because I lived in a Mars space for like the longest time. It's like I should probably go back. I know it's gonna be long, but I should be fine. And literally lost a bunch of shit to EdenCom because I hadn't started dual standing my stuff, and I was like, and yes, this is when my choices did me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, yeah, like dealing with you guys at CCP, and I know Triggs just really wanted Pochvin to actually work, because even from the get go, there was just so many little things that we were all just like, how is this broken? So actually,
I personally think, though, with this kind of system that y'all have, and as you said, it's got endless scalability, I would really love to see like people being able to join up with pirate squads and even trigs and tanking security statuses here,
of
there, and
systems,
everywhere,
yeah,
and other people be able to fight back, even getting like mini takeovers for a short time and before it resets,
the
you know.
having faction warfare like actually start causing.
Like, oh, that perimeter, it's not point 0.9 anymore, it's point 0.4 for a bit.
Ooh, that'd be funny. Yeah, I think that would be cool. From what you said, Swift, and I agree with Reece on that one. Like, it would be fun to see more than just like the fact warfare. I mean, the soft space fighting would be an interesting idea. But
Like
like,
Garistas coming into HiSec and doing
yeah,
things to screw over Concord, and the reward could be LP.
like
Yeah,
seeing
there's
that
a
would be
lot of
cool.
like, there's just a lot of opportunity there, right?
Yeah, I think it would make it so entertaining because just even going from in high sec flying around, you could get screwed super fast. Like it would be very entertaining. It'd make Eve feel very
It'd be more
dangerous.
engaging because a lot of times HiSec is either nothing's happening or you're getting ganked.
or
That
there's
it's
or there's 50 orcas on grid.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
there's a
one of
little
those
bit of
times.
changing. There's a little bit of change coming to
Oh yeah, there's changes there too.
yeah, to high sec. The not only for the ganking, but also like abyssal stuff is changing a little bit, which I think it works really well together. In my opinion, I don't know. I know the as we mentioned at Vegas that there were like changes to the abyss. and how that worked to spread people out. We didn't announce the specifics. These specifics came out on Hobo Leaks just a couple days ago, anyways. But for those that aren't aware, basically the TLDR is like the harder abyss sites that you like the T4s, T5s, and T6s. You're gonna have to be in like lower sec status, but still high sec. So T6s you'll have to run in 0.5s. T5s you'll have to run in like 0.6s. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll be a suspect when you leave.
Ooh.
Um, so you can still like basically what we were trying to do, or what the designers were trying to do, is just make it so it's not the best place to run them is Jita,
Yeah.
because that was like always a thing, because it was literally the safest for like some really weird interactions that we probably don't have to go into specifically, but TLDR is Jita was the safest spot.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, it kind of sucks where you don't have to like travel with your loot, right? Like you finish a site, you go back to your insta dock, you go in, you sell all the shit, you go out, restock up, and go again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
That's not healthy for the game overall.
yeah,
Don't think.
exactly.
Yeah. I know a couple people that'll be very happy where I still have something set up with that change because they love running abyssals.
Yeah, so they'll have to go out a little bit way. They'll have to like have some supplies with them, and this is how a lot of like abyssal runners, like dudes who have this as like their main play style, at least always did anyways, is they'd go to like some pipe system so they could kind of see if any gankers are coming, stuff like that. Go into a point 0.5, go into a point 0.6 or something, have all their shit there, and then just like ferry this stuff back to Jita when they need more ammo or more filaments and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which also gives like extra targets of opportunity for like gankers as well, right? You're talking about there's going to be what, like billions of isk worth of like commodities and like isogen, crystalline isogen in there, and like red loot, and mutaplasmids. They're just going to be, they're all going to be coming to some trade hub, probably Jita.
Most likely do that. Yeah.
So now you've got a little bit of something more for gankers to go after, which kind of goes hand in hand with like the bit of a ganking nerf. So the TLDR on that one is if you're like a criminal, you won't be able to tether to citadels anymore,
Yes.
and you won't be able to dock in a ship in high sec. You can dock in a capsule and undock in a ship, but you won't be able to just like sit tethered in your catalysts or your bombers or whatever, wait for the right thing to come along and kind of nuke them.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So there, I mean, there's we didn't want to just say, hey, nerf ganking, screw gankers or anything like that. We just wanted to kind of give them better targets to go after, so it's not just like a single venture. Because like I know how this works, right? Like you're waiting for a big target to come by, like your friends out there like looking for hulks or something, or waiting for the dude with ore strip miners, and you're like, well, I got 15 minutes to kill. Let me just go pop this venture and see, just for the memes.
Wait. We're not supposed to do that.
I mean, we'd
I-
rather
I-
you go after
I-
like better targets,
ex-
right? Like
ex-
we want ganking to be a thing, not just like
yeah, not
you're
just griefing.
you're just bored popping ventures for no reason, right?
Yeah. No, I get you on that one. I'm just laughing because I love popping ventures and Pockman.
That's not
Unpopular,
ganking.
yeah. Unpopular,
That's
that's
combat.
you're
It's my
supposed to be doing that.
It's my favorite thing to do.
It just brought a poor combat ship to the fight.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Reece and Kylon have heard me say it before. Like, I literally freak out when my security status isn't 5.0. I will burn days grinding my security status back. Because I, like flying a pacifier, so I want max skill, max bonuses for repping myself. So I literally am, pretty paranoid about the whole security status thing. So actually having something that stops, tethering and docking in the ship is kind of fun, because then you can, potentially blow up a ship. Negative 10.
Yeah, and then the other big change is we chatted about it a little bit pre-show, but the other big change is like now alphas can't go red, safety red.
Yeah.
We know that that's not like a big problem. Like people aren't just using alphas to gank stuff. Like ganking is much more organized than probably a lot of people think. Just they experience the end result and it just seems really easy, but we know there's a lot of planning and cooperation that goes into it. One of the things that we wanted to do is just make sure that when this change comes in, people aren't just going to adapt to using disposable alphas when their sex status gets too low and just make a new one, because they no longer have that like training, um, they don't have a skill queue limit anymore. So you can just load up a bunch of alphas, click catalyst, and just forget about it, and it's going to train to a catalyst in like 8 days.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to make sure that didn't happen. There are some other ramifications, like if you're in low second and alpha, you can't smart bomb anymore, um, which is probably a bit of a bummer. So we're kind of looking at changes that might affect that. Um, I know it's just a very small number of people that would probably do that anyways. But let's say you're trying to firewall some missiles or something, suddenly you can't do that as an alpha, which isn't necessarily what we intend. So maybe we'll kind of tweak that a little bit. I kind of look at other little areas where there's unintended feature or like unintended gameplay interactions with this, that we'll go ahead and the design team will tweak here and there,
Yeah.
either in the expansion or just in a point release after the expansion. Like, just want to be very clear, like what our reasoning is, like why they made the decision that they did, and so if there's stuff caught in the crossfire, they'll go ahead and just like do their best to kind of fix it and make sure it's not stuck in that weird limbo.
The weird spot where, you gave us a stick to poke things with, and, we made it into what would be a fun thing. We made it into a gun. Because Eve players are good at breaking everything. So, yeah, no, that's good.
It's you leave them alone for 2 minutes and they break everything.
Yeah. Leave an Eve player alone with something new, shiny toy, and we break it as fast as possible. No, I mean, I do like that. I've been on the ganking side of things. I've been ganked, I should say, a couple of times. So I am happy to kind of see that for you're stopping people from alphaing, Alpha Tune doing it. And even though I have an Alpha Tune, that kind of was set up for that. Except it was more fun to be like, hey, we war decked you in high sec, and I'm literally using a catalyst to chew through your shields. But I do like that it kind of, it stops people from just making infinite alpha accounts and just being an asshole. That is a good split. Figure, we've kind of gone over for normal hour timeline. I figure it would, because it's always fun to talk to Swift. You're always entertaining to have
so many changes, man. We had so much stuff changing.
Yeah, and then there's undoubtedly stuff that we like haven't even talked about yet. Like the new ships that we teased.
Yeah, oh yeah, the new ships.
Those are going to be cool.
I feel like everyone, when they first saw that, was dreads, and my first response is, no, they're new mining ships. Each empire is going to have their own mining ship now. Because you guys
Let
are...
me see if I can share my screen real quick.
You guys are good at hiding with the size and scale of ships. You can zoom in and zoom out enough on a ship that you get confused.
I gotta stop being a boomer and figure out how this works.
CCP Swift shows off the things that they shouldn't. No, Swift, don't do it.
Okay, now we officially have CCP's Swift's address. Everyone start ordering him pineapple pizzas.
Hey, pineapple's okay.
I failed to do it, but hold on, I can figure this out.
I love that, you consider yourself a boomer. It's kind of good. You play spreadsheets in space and you consider yourself a boomer.
Okay, I think I got it. I see the play button.
Except you're not sharing your screen no more.
Yeah, I just had to figure out how to do that one too.
Ooh. Is it like now? My guess is it's specifically a ship meant to kill Titans. It's like a super Titan.
I'll gladly tell you it's not a super titan. I can roll through it again. It's just like the avatar is there just to be like a target to be
Yeah.
shot at, and then the rest are just kind of like
The
a
guns.
zoom in
The
on
guns
some
are
guns.
big.
Those just Navy dreads.
Yeah. Ooh, Navy dreads. That'd be cool. I'd be for that one.
Who knows what they are? I don't know. There's something for everyone though.
I mean, just hope it comes out nice and it isn't a pain to make them.
That might bring Reece back to the
I'm
game.
excited.
I know. I'm excited to see what's revealed too. And everyone else will say, "Where's my angels, dreads, and titans and stuff?" Which I agree. Where are they? All right. I guess we can kind of just call it here. There's so much to unpack from everything. I mean, reading that thing, what came out of FanFest, like the whole time I was reading it at work, I was just like, I might be getting an awkward boner right now. Like, this is so exciting. Like, I can't believe like this shit's finally happening.
Yeah, hopefully that's what everyone's reaction is. Really tried to get something in there for everyone, right? It's like
Yeah.
high sec, low sec, null sec, POC vent, PvE, PvP. Like no matter what you do, hopefully there should be something in here that you are like, this makes my life better. This is more fun to play. It's really what the teams are kind of going after.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of been.
I was gonna say, I think it's a good pass for everyone. Like, I think that's good. That it's not just focused on one thing. I think that it's hitting a lot of different areas of space and a lot of different play styles. I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and some of the things we didn't talk about were like some just tech optimizations, but that's just because I don't know what most of them mean.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do a disservice like the engine team, but the TLDR is like Eve is gonna run better as well. Like they already did one pass in October that kind of made dropped like the memory usage for multiple clients specifically, and they're still doing stuff for it. And then of course there's new hangars as well in Upwell's structures, so in Citadels. And this is probably the coolest shit you've ever seen. Ship spinning is dead. I'm calling it now. Now it's like ship undocking and then canceling the undock animation and watching it kind of go back to docking bay. It's just really, really cool.
That was when we did our episode right after FanFest. That was like the one, like all the art team stuff that was coming out in the hangar bays. I was just like, this is fucking great, and this is gonna look so cool. Instead of just clicking undock and it processing that you're undocking, and like, oh, now I've been spat out. I think that is gonna be super fun to see all the time. I just wish it was in all, not just Upwell stations. Because
one of the things is we wanted to see like how it kind of works in normal in some of the stations, because I mean we can test and QA things to an extent, like make a few hundred, even a few thousand like thin clients. When you're talking about the entire game going into one of these, we just want to double check.
Yeah,
that it doesn't break. Yeah.
No, I get that. That, and I know like, oh, Upwell's easy. Because everyone could be uniformed for that one, whereas CCP would put their little touch on it, and a Mimitar station would look completely different compared to a Galente one or a Caldari one or an Amar one. And I know that the art team would probably have so much fun doing that for the Empire ones. But yeah, first things first is whether or not it breaks the game. It's always
the priorities.
Yeah. That's always an important one. It better not break the game.
No more boot I type disasters, please.
You basically want it to go smoothly, so you're not running around the community trying to put out fires, right?
Yeah, exactly. Being like, hey, sorry, we fried your new 4090 or whatever. Like, our bad. Like,
Yeah.
no, there's zero chance of that happening. But
Oh, it's not. It's not
but that
walking
would
in
be bad.
stations frying GPUs.
And I could go on like super rants about walking in station. I think it was like way ahead of its time. And if we released it like recently, people would love it. But at the time, let's save that for another show. It'll be fun. I got like an hour of material in there.
Oh, there's so much talk I could do about that. I'm surprised some of my computers lived through the walking in stations age. Like, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah, I do think it was ahead of its time for a game that 99%, well, 99% of the time you're spent in your ship. It was totally different. But yeah, if docking if docking in the new Upwell structures fried my brand new 3070, I will find you, Swift. And I'll make you sit and drink a beer with me and cry about the fact that it just killed my new computer.
I will buy you a 3090s worth or 3080s worth, whatever, worth of beer at FanFest. That only might be like 3 beers. Iceland is a little expensive.
Yeah, it is a little expensive, but all right, so we can get into wrap down, quiet down mode. I mean, I know there's so much with all this new stuff. You guys can poke around, read posts and stuff. I believe you guys are competent readers. That you can find info for what's going on with the new changes. My favorite part is kills. I had some fun. I helped clear out some nullsec area of some structures recently. So I got 2 shiny Athenors on my kill mails recently. Had a lot of fun helping out some of our allies out in nullsec, which was it was different. I was happy the fleet that the structure that people died on. I wasn't there. It was too early in the day. So I didn't get grief about people losing ships. So, but we've been hitting some structures with one of our allies quite a bit recently. We're trying to clear out some area of space for them. Reece is killing stuff in. He's killed his 15th Titan this week. So
Yeah, shut up.
I know your event for Star Wars Galaxy is over, so you're actually kind of paying attention.
I'm just chilling.
Kylon,
There's a lot of good stuff that was said today, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I mean maybe it'll bring you back. Also, what would bring him back very quick into playing the game, Swift, would be if I get you partner.
I know a guy. Apparently,
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
Because he wants that Plex so he can use me to not pay for the game.
Well, it doesn't help that like my local currency has lost value by about 30% on top of the hike of price.
No.
So it has not been fun.
Yeah, no, I can feel you on that one, dude. I'm telling you, you just need to become the next Pablo Escobar, and you don't have that problem.
No.
You have a new set of problems, not that problem.
And he says that because I live in Colombia.
Yep. Kylon, any fun kills in the past week or two?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I think my favorite was the golem we killed that was running a Crimson Gauntlet site,
Ooh.
and we killed it using Icaturses and Nurgles.
No one
And some
suspects
other
the
stuff.
Nurgle. Yeah, they're so much fun.
Yeah, and we actually lost 3 Nurgles. I put the kill in the Twitch chat here, but turns out you probably need like 6 or 7 Nurgles at least to kill a golem if you're just using Nurgles. So
Yeah,
we'll know that for next time. But it was still a good kill.
yeah, kill's a kill. I mean, that's a nice almost 3 billion-esque golem. Kill's a kill. Swift, did you die in a glorious blaze of glory in Pakvin, or did you Did you guys actually
I mean,
kill some stuff?
I actually survived. I was the venture tackle. I killed a Kiki. I killed a Magus. I tackled the paladin until like I realized, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, guys. They wanted to die anyways because it was cool. But I didn't want to give up my my corpse because I'm petty. So I went back to the wormhole that was like from the Sakenta hole, right? So I went back and just went autopiloted to Jita, docked up, uh, called it a day.
I mean, it's not a
But
bad
mostly, I'm
choice.
just like, exactly, coward's choice. But I'm mostly just kind of excited for the Alliance tournament.
Yeah, it's
It's
been
in
fun.
like less than 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Just watching teams practice. I kind of like sneak on test servers and see what they're doing.
yeah. I was watching a lot of the feeders. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was super good. Like some really, really strong matches. I'm curious to see how the meta evolves. Um, because we haven't announced exactly when the expansion is. Like captains and participants don't know like when or if they'll be affected by the ship changes. So we kind of like gave them an offer. We're like, hey, if you want to just ban all hacks from the tournament because you don't want to plan for both outcomes, we can do that. Let's just like vote together, and if there's a plurality, then let's kind of deal with it. And just every like almost all the captains are like, nah, let's just YOLO. Let's just see what happens. It'll be fine.
I feel like that's how most AT teams are. It's just YOLO. We're gonna
Yeah,
have some
yeah.
fun.
Like, oh, we've been practicing for 6 months. Yeah, it's fine. Let's just throw a wrench halfway through. Cool.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, no, about the not handing your corpse out because I'm pretty sure everyone would love to get their hands on your corpse. I'm one of those people that if I die, there's a 99% chance I'm quickly getting into a ship, finding my corpse, and shooting it. There is a
Yeah.
very small amount of, I mean, unless like I run into a null block fleet and I'm just like, yeah, I won't be able to get to my corpse. But otherwise, if I die and it's only against one dude, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going back and killing my corpse. No one can have it. But all right, Swift, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
love chatting about stuff. It's been forever since I've been invited to a podcast, so I appreciate the invite. And after the expansion hits, maybe I can come back and we can see how you guys are liking the
Oh,
nice stuff.
I have a feeling the meta in Pokvin is going to change so quick. Everyone's gonna have whiplash about what ships we're supposed to be flying.
Good.
Yeah, I have that sneaking suspicion because Pokvin players, you know, they are min-max to survive in Pokvin, so it's gonna be crazy. The meta will change really quick. For us, for people doing obs, people gate camping and stuff in Pokemon, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I can always reach out, and if you got time, we'll accommodate you. You're always fun to have on. You're our favorite boundary violator.
Right on, right on. I just like to point out I never boundary violated in an alliance tournament. Only in
Yeah,
another lesser tournament, which is dead now. So
it's
I
okay.
take credit for I've survived. I've outlasted the other lesser tournament.
Yeah. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, I will just shout out CCP's like whole dev team is doing great with these changes, and everyone I know normally everyone's just like, oh yeah, you know, everyone's got to worship Aurora. Swift does a good job too, guys. He's not
Yeah.
bad.
I actually don't do anything. I just take credit for the amazing work that other people do. So I've got a pretty good gig going. They don't let me anywhere near anything.
You get cheers when you show up at Vegas.
Yeah. Nothing thrown at me feels good. I get to be responsible for the DBS going up just because I'm the one that announced it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No,
there
was
we
a lot
go.
of work.
There you go.
You take all the credit, and
And we got a
everyone
new guy to take the blame. CCBB. Like if anything breaks, it's his fault.
That's exactly what you have to do. You have to haze the newbie.
But all right, we will call it here. I will raid the channel over to someone else from playing Eve, because if they're not playing Eve, I don't like to raid their channel. And we will call it quits. Let's see. We'll make some new guy very happy. Sure. We will make him very happy. He will suddenly get a bunch of people rated into his channel. But yeah, thanks for being on, Swift. And triangles, keep it dangerous.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for coming on.
Rock on, yeah, anytime.
All right, later, triangles.